Imagine your marriage healthy, thriving, and fun again. Welcome to the Coach Martez and Woodrina Show, the ultimate power couple helping you with understanding love, accepting truth, and changing perspective. Certified professional life and marriage coach Martez Layton and licensed therapist Woodrina Layton are here to help you step up your game when it comes to marriage, relationships, and so much more. With 30 years of marriage under their belt and a proven track record of mending broken bonds, you can rely on Coach Martez and Woodrina to empower you and your loved ones to have a strong connection for life. The Coach Martez and Woodrina Show starts now.
Good afternoon, everyone. How you doing?
Hello.
Hello, everyone. I'm Coach Martez.
And I'm licensed therapist Woodrina Layton.
And you're listening to the Coach Martez and Woodrina Layton Show on Transformation Talk Radio. Stay with us for the next hour as we break down some of the myths of being married for life. Last week, we shared 2 keys to being married for life, which were falling in love and facing the truth. Today, we will be sharing 2 more keys, which are fighting for your future and fearlessly changing your perspective.
Yes, and we are looking forward to having an enjoyable conversation around walking out the journey of love, life, and fulfilling purpose. Every Wednesday at 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time here on Transformation Talk Radio, we will have practical tips, new insights, perspectives, along with life and relationship tips that will help you to improve your relationships, communicate better, walk in forgiveness, and simply help you to love better. And last but not least, we will provide motivation and encouragement to fulfilling your destiny, purpose, and dreams.
Mm-hmm.
So today we're here to discuss the emotional and mental keys that can help you stay committed to one person for life. Can you truly be happy and remain committed to the same person for life? Now, we started this discussion last week. So today, we're really going to stay on this subject because we're going to continue with the next 2 keys. Last week, just for those who didn't have a chance to listen, please go back and listen. We talked about the first 2 keys, which were falling in love and facing the truth. And so for the specifics of, what that entails, please go back and listen to that podcast.
Mm-hmm. Definitely. And one of the things we brought out in our first show, we talked about destiny partner. And please go back and so you can find out a little bit more when we use the term destiny partner, because I can promise you pretty much we're always going to be talking about destiny partner. And one of the things I just wanted to just say, which I didn't say in our first show, was that there is a difference between a parenting partner and a destiny partner. All right. I want you to remember that. There is a difference between a parenting partner and a destiny partner, because many marriages find that they lose their purpose, they lose their passion, they lose their joy when the kids grow or they get out of high school and go to college. And now we are like empty nesters. But what are we going to do? Because in actuality, it was almost like our purpose and our destiny was just to raise our kids.
Right.
But no, there's a difference between a parenting partner and a destiny partner, because the destiny partner is going to make it where you can be happy and married for life. Because a parenting partner, when the kids are gone and they're on their own, it's like we're frustrated. You taking your golfing trips, I'm taking my trips with the girls, having fun, and it's almost like we become roommates. So I just wanted to kind of bring that up, but we'll be being able to talk about that more. And I can't wait until we can actually take some calls, because I told y'all, calls, it just ignites me. It's like I just become like, woo, let's go. Y'all want to talk? Let's go. Let's talk live, baby.
He loves to talk. So with that being said, we're just getting started with this. So we just so you can get a feel for us and get to know us.
Yes.
Of course, you can probably tell we like to have fun, so
definitely.
In your relationship, it's all, you need to make sure that you are having fun as well, not always so serious.
Right. And then we'll talk about this too later. We do a workshop called Mind Style, because like we like to have fun, but I just want to tell y'all, Woodrina likes controlled fun.
That's correct.
She's a critical thinker. And so with that mind style, it's like I can't just surprise her, hit her with a snowball, throw a water balloon. So my wife loves to have fun, but it has to be controlled fun. So I'm not sure there's any other controlled fun people out there, because I'm the exact opposite. But anyway, I just thought I'd throw that out there. Yeah. But she loves to have fun, but it's controlled fun.
Yes, everything has to be planned. Yes. So
give us a fun fact.
Yeah, so let's, before we get into today's topic, we just wanted to help you to get a feel for us. So a fun fact about me.
Yes.
So a fun fact about me is I love to travel.
Okay.
Yeah, I love to travel.
Favorite trip?
My favorite trip was Jamaica. We went to Jamaica one year for our anniversary, and it was a wonderful trip.
I remember sitting there eating with the
water
right there.
Yes, it was
beautiful.
We
love Jamaica.
It was beautiful.
And that punch, what about what that punch did to me?
Oh, that rum punch. We don't even want to go into that. But anyway, let's tell about a fun fact for you.
Okay, well, one of the fun facts about me, I don't know if I've said this before, but actually, after graduating high school, I went into the United States Navy, served in the Navy for 12 years, absolutely loved it. I was actually a Navy recruiter, and not to brag on myself, we're not doing that today, Martez. I actually was the top recruiter in my district. I just want you all to know,
you were.
I was the top recruiter in my district while in the Navy. But that's a fun fact about me. I am a Navy sailor and a United States Navy veteran.
Yes. All right. So now, let's just get into our topic. We're talking about being married for life. That's just something that we live by, that we stand by. When you're being married, you want to be happy. So how can we do this?
Yes.
How can we be happy? So one of the keys that, we're going to talk about today is fighting for your future. Because when you're in your relationship and you're having challenges and battles, it doesn't feel good.
Right.
So what you're going through, it doesn't feel good. So how do you mentally and emotionally fight that? How do you deal with that? So you have to ask, it's questions that I want to ask you to think about, when you're going through your challenges, your emotional and mental challenges in your relationship. What do you see as far as the future for your family? When you said I do, what did you dream of in regard to your spouse or your children? And then you have to ask yourself, is it worth fighting for? Because, when we're going through challenges and, it's going to be some mental battles.
Yes.
And so correct. Emotionally, the feelings that you're going to be having, they're not going to feel good. So it's how do we get through that?
Right.
So,
Yeah, and I'm glad you brought that out. It's fighting for your future, and then some of the mental and emotional battles, because like we always say to everybody, we're very transparent. And I just want you to know, a lot of Woodrina's mental and emotional battle scars, they were caused by me. That would be me. So I don't know if there's any other men out there like me, or women that will actually be able to say it is true, on your journey of love, on your journey of really making your marriage just memorable and life lasting. There are going to be challenges that actually the other person may be actually causing you. So that's why we say you want to fight for your future, because you want to know, I'm not quitting on you.
Yeah.
That's one of the things that I love my wife about, is we didn't quit on each other. And actually, when we first met each other, that was one of the things we were committed to.
Yeah.
My mom had 4 failed marriages. And so for me, I definitely knew I didn't want that.
Yeah.
And so that's why we say, when you're going to be happily married for life, you got to know, what are we fighting for?
Yeah.
And it's very key to remember, the we is
Yes.
not only what I'm fighting for, it needs to be, what are we fighting for? Yeah. And one of the things that we do with all the couples that we work with, I always tell them, once you begin to work with me, or work with both my wife and I together, we change it to team. We'll say Team Layton, to someone I know that's watching and listen, Miss McGregor there in Atlanta, Georgia, Team McGregor, the people we work with, they know we change it to team, because the fight cannot be individually. The fight has to be a we.
Right. And we both have to, know that. So when you're going through those battles and it's like, okay, this doesn't feel good, you have to know what you're fighting for. So that is something that's a strategy. That's a strategy. It's like, what am I here for? What am I fighting for? Why am I in this? And you have to remind yourself of that. So when you're going through those challenges and it doesn't feel good, remind yourself of why you're there.
Right.
Because that's what's going to keep you there. That's what's going to keep you going.
You look good today. I want you to know.
Thank you.
So, but this is very important too. Again, what happens a lot of times in relationships, when we say fighting for your future, you want to make sure you're not fighting your spouse.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? You're not fighting against them. And we know this because there was a time in our marriage where basically Woodrina looked at me as I am the enemy. Mm-hmm. You are the reason, Martez, that I have this stress in my life. Mm-hmm. You are the reason that I'm dealing with this. And so if anybody is feeling like that, that's listening to us, because a lot of times, instead of pointing outwardly, you're actually pointing not inwardly to yourself, but you're actually pointing to the person that you love, and you're actually saying, you're the reason. You're the reason why we're in this position. You're the reason why we're having to go through this. And so we want to make sure that when we're talking about fighting for your future, you can't be fighting against each other. You have to know we're in this as a team, and whatever is coming against me, it comes against you.
Right.
And whatever is coming against you, it comes against me. And when I say whatever, it's also mental and emotional thoughts and feelings.
Yes. Yeah. So you have to ask yourself, like, what can I do different? What can I do, in this situation to make it better, for me, for us as a team? What can I do?
I just saw that. Look, I tell you, I just saw that. You got to be reminding me because I keep talking.
It's okay,
but thank you so much to our amazing producers that's telling me, Martez, it's time to go on break.
Not yet. We still have time.
Okay.
You're moving fast.
All right.
I got it. I'm
Okay.
in control.
Let's go. Thank you so much. You know I need it. You know I need it. You know that. You know I need it. Just and Dr. Pat. Thank you. But yeah, no, because I had a thought that came to my mind when we were just talking about that. The fighting and being that team, when we talk about emotion, we're going to come back because I want to make sure you understand what it means to also fight for one another's emotions, because sometimes someone else in the relationship may be feeling depressed or may be feeling like alone, but you're not really fighting to bring them back to that place of happiness or joy. So when we come back, I want to hit on that too. That's okay?
Oh no, that's definitely okay. We definitely want to talk about that, because it's like, what about that person that says, well, that's not my job to bring him back. That's not my job to bring him back, to that place. What about me? What about me?
I like that. Let's talk about that.
So, you have all of that in play.
That's for real. That's for real.
So you have been listening to the Coach Martez and Woodrina Layton show
on the Transformation Talk Radio.
We're going to take a quick break, but when we come back, we're going to discuss more about the emotional and mental keys that can help you stay committed.
Your future. Let's go.
There we go.
We are back, and you're listening to the Coach Martez and Woodrina Layton show. Again, I'm Coach Martez, and this is my wife,
licensed therapist Woodrina Layton.
Today, we are talking about the mental and emotional keys that can help you stay happily committed to one person for life.
But before we continue, I just want to make sure that everyone knows how to connect with us on social media. If you want to connect or work with us, our website is dreambuilderscoaching.net, dreambuilderscoaching.net, and on Facebook, Dream Builders Marriage Coaching and Counseling, Instagram at Coach Martez and at Woodrina Layton.
Yes.
So we're talking about the keys to being married for life, and today we're on keys 3 and 4. We've been talking about fighting for your future. Have the emotional and mental keys needed to be able to fight when you're in that fight and it's not feeling good.
Right.
And we had left off at our break, and Martez and you were bringing out a point.
Yeah. So what I was thinking about, and again, I just want everybody to know, Woodrina and I, again, have been married for over 30 years. We've been together since I was 18 years old, but pretty much the first 16 years of my marriage, I was pretty much a horrible husband, but I was an amazing dad. And so a lot of the things that we're talking about are things that we have personally experienced, personally overcome, and things that I've learned, my wife has learned together that we're sharing. So, sometimes it's not just something I read. I just want you to know it is personal. And a lot of times it was inflicted by me as well, so I just want to put that out there. So again, when we talked about this, I think about how a lot of times when we say fighting for your future, fighting for your family's future, there may have been a time in our life when, again, like I said, I owned a full service dry cleaners. I could have been fighting for my business. I could have been fighting for my children, but I wasn't fighting for my wife, and so I want to make sure when we're talking about fighting for your future, emotionally, you always know where each other are emotionally. You don't want to have where you are very confident in what you're doing. You are strong in what you're doing. You are feeling loved and appreciated in what you're doing, but then your spouse may not be. Your spouse could feel like they're alone. Your spouse could feel like, I do everything with the kids. I'm taking care of all of this. I'm doing all of this. But then it's like, you're not really fighting for where they are emotionally. And during the break, I had gave Woodrina an example. And I could tell you that was a time in our marriage, I'm sure, and you can elaborate on it. I may have made Woodrina feel like this. The image for me went back to wrestling, like back in the 80s, 90s, and probably even some now. But I just remember how you would have the tag teams. But sometimes other wrestlers will be coming and jumping into it. So what I'm saying, you never want your spouse to feel like they're being jumped on by life, by their job, by other tasks, by other assignments. And when they're trying to reach out their hand to get tagged so you can come in and help them, you are focused on something else. You're distracted by other things. So it's almost as if they're in there fighting for themselves and fighting alone. And so we just want to make sure that you all understand, again, the fight for your future is to fight together as a team. To fight together as a unit. Again, like I said, I was in the military, and so you learn about what it means to be a team, what it means to be a unit. And we want you as spouses together to know I'm fighting for us.
Exactly. And that's a part of it. That's the mental, when we talk about the mental and emotional keys, you have to always mentally know that we're a team. So no matter how I feel, I may feel like, well, oh, woe is me. What about me? No, we're a team. So you have to be able to communicate that to your spouse and remind them, if you're feeling like you're all alone on the island by yourself, it's like, no, babe, we're a team. We're in this together. I need your help. I need this, and it's learning how to get to that place of vulnerability as well, with one another, so that we can really be at a point where we feel comfortable sharing those things. But no, that's part of that fight, because you'll fail. You will lose the battle, the mental battle, if you stay there all alone and don't communicate. You'll lose, because in your mind it's like, yep, I'm just all by myself. I just got to do this. But no, you're not alone. It's a team. And and which we given the keys to staying happily married for life. If you got somebody that don't want to jump on board and be a part of the team, then that's a whole nother story. But for those who are committed, then it's like, no, we have to, these are keys to help us to get through, remembering we're a team and communicating that when we're feeling like we're not.
No, that's good. I mean, because you brought out a great point when you was talking about how even in this fighting for your future, you have to be vulnerable.
Yes.
And you have to be where you allow yourself to be held accountable. You know what I'm saying? So when you said that, it's like, that's true, because if you may have grew up or something, and your emotional baggage is, I have to do it myself. I have to do it myself. You know, I don't want to have to ask for help. But see, in marriage, first of all, that's help. That's a team. That's a unit. So it's like you said, you know, you want to be vulnerable to be where it's like, you know, I want help. You know, and I want to just say this too. You know, if you're that spouse that has caused your spouse to not really look or not be focused on what you're doing, you have to remember, you gotta help them to change. Because what I'm saying by this is, sometimes if you've been with a person for years and this person wants to take on everything themselves, this person wants to do everything themselves, then the spouse, you know,
he's got accustomed to that, or she's got accustomed
you know, we just was in a session just the other day where said, I didn't know you wanted help, because you always say, I do it myself. You know, but I just want to say, you know, you want to be vulnerable. You want to be able to be approached and be accountable in this fight. Because again, you're not supposed to be fighting by yourself in marriage. No, I want to say that again. You are not supposed to be fighting for your future by yourself. That is not what's supposed to be happening. It is wrong. It is not acceptable. It is not okay.
That's right. Because that's right, because we're a team. So like I said earlier, we have to go back to, you know, what was it that we were thinking and dreaming of when we said I do? And those memories, those thoughts, that has to take you back. Did you have a thought?
It just popped in my head, Woodrina.
What was that?
No, because I just want to say this, because it popped in my head, how some people will say, that's the reason why I don't want to get married, because when you get married, now you have to fight. Now you have to do this. And so it popped in my head, but it's amazing to me that when people have a desire or a dream to achieve a certain level in their career or to achieve a certain level in college, you don't tell yourself, I want to fight to pass this exam. I want to fight to pass the bar. I don't want to fight to start it. Because in starting a business, you're going to deal with some mental pressure. You're going to deal with some mental opposition, even whether it's in your city with permits, licensing, and other things. So I just wanted to say that, how a lot of times they'll say, you know, that's why I don't want to get married, because then you got to be fighting. No, you fight with everything in life. Everything in life, it's going to be a fight. So don't try to just say, well, see, that's why I want to get married. Married people got to fight for their future. No, all of us got to fight. Even if you're not married, you still got to be fighting for your future, fighting for other things. I just wanted to say that.
Exactly. I mean, wow, that was a lot. But because I know I'm just thinking about that because it was bringing up a lot of me, but I'm not gonna go into all that. But anyway, that is so true. You know, we have to remember that. So you know, those challenges, those battles are gonna come, but mentally we just have to make sure we continue to remember those things, that we're a team, and remember our dream and why we're doing what we're doing, you know, what we're hoping for our wives,
your children, your
children, your legacy.
Exactly.
So do you want to move on into well, I think we may need we could go ahead and start
because I mean we said that point and we just ran over. You said children and legacy. Okay. But again, it's important when you're fighting for your future to know what is the legacy. What is the dream? You know, because again, like I always say, your passion is connected to your purpose, and your purpose is what leads you into that destination or to that dream. So again, when you're fighting for your future together, you're fighting for a legacy together. You're fighting for your children and your grandchildren together as a team. And so that's what keeps you committed. You know, so even though the children are gone, we as parents or we as spouses, we still have something we want to leave. You know, you don't want to retire and just sit on the porch. You know, that day is gone for me. I just don't believe, you know, you may retire from a job, but your purpose, you don't retire from purpose. You don't retire from your life's mission. And your life mission, you know, it's a joy to play with your grandkids, be with your grandkids, but your life's mission we still should have something that we're accomplishing. So I was just saying, when you're fighting for your future and your legacy, you want to do that together also, and with your children. So
and then you have to identify, like we said too, you have to identify what that legacy is. Right. What
so true.
Because a lot of times when people get married, they don't know, like, what is our destiny, what is it that we want to do, or what mark do we want to leave in the earth. So a lot of times, because like we said with our story, when we were going through our challenges and fighting, that was the thing that kept me holding on, because I knew the destiny, I knew the purpose. I knew that our union wasn't just a union. I knew our
this day was coming.
I knew this day was coming. I knew we had godly purpose. I knew there was a destiny. So therefore, I had that no matter how I felt, how miserable I may have felt emotionally, that one thing kept me focused. And so that helped me to mentally and emotionally fight. So that's why you have to identify, what is that legacy? What is that destiny that we're fighting for? Because that's going to give you the strength to win that emotional and mental battle.
I love it.
That's good.
But that is very important. I love it.
That is so true. So we're gonna get ready to take a break, but when we come back, we're gonna move into our fourth key, which is fearlessly changing your perspective. So we're gonna talk about that. We're gonna conquer that emotional and mental fight. We're gonna win that fight, and now we're gonna learn. We're gonna do it by changing our perspective. So you have been listening to the Coach Martez and Woodrina Layton show. We are gonna take a quick break, but stay tuned, and we will be right back.
We are back, and you're listening to the Coach Martez and Woodrina Layton show. We have been discussing the emotional and mental keys that can help you stay happily committed to one person for life. We've been discussing the third key, which is fighting for your future. Now we're going to discuss the fourth key.
Yes, which is fearlessly changing your perspective. So what is perspective? Perspective is defined as one's mental view of facts, ideas, etc., and their interrelationships. So your mental view is connected to the emotional tank in your heart. So Martez, tell us a little bit about that.
Well, first of all, I mean, let's just go back to that definition. Perspective. Perspective is defined as one's mental view of facts, ideas, etc., and their interrelationships. Yes. So again, when you have a perspective, I think I talked about this in our book, which we definitely got to talk about, A Blessed Affair. Be careful what you curse. Your curse could be your blessing. Oh, that's going to be a good topic right there. I'm telling you, we got to do a show on that.
We will.
So, but again, just thinking about, like, when you say, what is your perspective on a good marriage? You just ask a person, you just ask a normal person, what is your perspective on a good marriage? And commonly, most people are probably going to say, well, a good marriage is, two people that love each other, two people that are loyal to each other, and two people that just really love. And I just want to ask you all that same question as you're listening. What is your perspective of a good marriage? But then I had to challenge myself, because again, perspective is your ideas or facts. And if you believe we're in a good marriage, nothing bad happens there. You don't really argue aggressively or really say things that really hurt the other person. In a good marriage, you would never cheat, or you would never do none of these things. But in actuality, if that's your perspective, then you're going to have challenges when storms arise.
Right.
when your marriage now goes into a different season, when we know that Dr. Garrett Chapman talked about the 4 seasons of marriage with fall, winter, spring, and summer. So if your perspective is, I'm just supposed to always be in a marriage that's springtime and summer, then what happens when you go into fall and winter, you almost feel like a lot of millennials and stuff may be like, I don't want to be here because this is not what I signed up for. But see, again, it's about perspective. And so then if that's your perspective, then your heart starts changing. Because again, if your perspective is, this is the way a good marriage should be, and then your perspective is connected to your emotional tank, which is in your heart. So then when things start changing in your marriage, from what you're seeing and what you're hearing, now you start feeling differently about your spouse. Because so now you start saying things to yourself like this: if they really loved me, they wouldn't treat me like this. If he or she really loved me, they wouldn't say these things to me. If, because my fact or my perspective is, you shouldn't say that. And so that's when I talk about perspective and really being able to change your perspective fearlessly. You know what I'm saying? So the reason why I say fearlessly, because it takes courage to look at yourself in the mirror and say, no. You know what I'm saying? You know, that was a time, because for you all who don't know, that was infidelity on both parts in our marriage. You know, and again, I promise you, we're going to talk about it. We probably need to talk about it soon. You know what I'm saying? 'Cause I don't want to just keep throwing this out there and they don't even know. You know, that was infidelity in both of our parts at different times in our marriage. So then if Woodrina's perspective was, no, once a cheater, always a cheater, then once I cheated, you gone. So then everything that our destiny, which we believe comes from God, everything that God promised us in destiny could literally be avoided because of your perspective.
That is so true. And so that's why it's about fearlessly changing your perspective, because you have to change your perspective a lot of times when you are fighting in order to be committed, because like you said, you would have thrown, I would have thrown away destiny. It's like, so when we're looking at relationships, we have to look at, we have to look at other ideas. We have to look at other facts. We have to look at like what's really happening between us, because a lot of times we'll get a lot of these ideas and stuff because of stuff we've seen and heard. And, like I say, seen from other people's relationship, but our relationship from your parents. From our parents, but our relationship is different. Your relationship is different. Everybody's relationship is unique. So what's needed for your relationship? So that's why we talk about, you have to change your perspective. Going through marriage, you have to change your perspective, because change is good. Like, a lot of times, like, change is good.
And it takes courage.
It takes courage. That's why we say fearlessly changing your perspective. Because it takes courage, but when you change, it's good. Because if not, we'll end up stuck in ways that where we're not growing, where we're not getting anywhere.
And again, like when I was just saying, again, when you talked about how your perspective is connected to your emotional tank. Your perspective could be around money. You know what I'm saying? Whether, this is what we should always do, or this is how we should have did money. And so there's a certain perspective that you have around money. And so then when you don't see that being taken, or you don't see that action actually being shown in front of you, again, emotionally, now you can start feeling depressed. You can start feeling rejected. You can start feeling disrespected. But again, all of that comes from a perspective that this is what I believe it should be, and this is the way it should look. And you never thought about, but what about a grace? What about compassion? What about understanding? Because that causes you to have to change. You know what I'm saying? It causes you to have to change. And so whenever you're just so narrow-minded, like when they talk about like the racing horses, how they keep the blinders on them just to keep them in focus. But when it comes to perspective, you always have to be asking yourself, how can I change the way I see this? Because there's always a different viewpoint. There's always something that can help you increase knowledge, increase understanding. And we went through that ourselves.
Yeah, exactly. So therefore you have to be open-minded. And it may not feel good, you know.
No, it won't feel good because again, your emotional tank is connected to your perspective.
Yeah, so it's not going to feel good because your perspective is being challenged, but it's your perspective, but that doesn't make it right.
Exactly.
So, you know, so here it is, your spouse is challenging your perspective, but it is your perspective, but it doesn't make it right.
So look, here it just came to me. The light just came on again. So, you know, here's a perspective. You know, I've got married. I do all of this working and stuff like this, and I be always providing. And then it's like, so my perspective is you should be folding the clothes, washing the clothes, drying the clothes, folding the clothes, and neatly putting them back in my drawer because that's what a wife's supposed to do. You know what I'm saying? But then it's like, but hold up though, hold up.
Yeah.
But then she working.
I work.
She got to drive to work. She got to drive home. She got to cook. She still got to deal with traffic and all these other things. But your perspective is a good wife always cooks, keeps the house clean and do. No, that's not a good perspective. That's just your perspective of trying to control things in a situation and make it right for you. Because I would just have a question, you know, what's wrong with your hands? What's wrong with you understanding, you know, how can I help you? You know, because again, we're still talking about team. You know, and I just want to say this to somebody that's hearing this. When you talk about team and you go to talking about football, you can be a quarterback. That, for people who don't know, the quarterback is the person that throws the ball. Tom Brady, Aaron Rodgers, Drew, just the person who throws the ball. Russell Wilson, who throws the ball, okay? The wide receiver is the person that catches the ball. They're on offense. But what happens is your position is offensively, you practice offensively, and you probably have been playing this all your life. But what happens is this. If you fumble the ball, and the other team gets the ball, although you may be an offensive player, now it's your job to stop that ball from getting into the end zone. So now you have to change and play defense. And so what I'm just saying is you have to realize as a spouse, you always should be in a mindset of asking yourself, how can I change to show you I love you more? How can I change to show you I'm supporting you more? That's a change of perspective.
Yes, that's good, Martez.
Man, I thought
that was good. That was good, Martez. That was good. That was good. That is so true.
Look, I really hope that helps somebody because
I'm sure it did, because that even goes back to, you know, what we're talking about, the mental and emotional battles, because that's, you know, the mental and emotional keys to help you stay, because that is mentally is going to help you.
Yes. It's going to help you as a team.
It's going to help you as a team. It's like, what can we do? You know, so I mean, that was so good. You kind of got me off thought a little bit. But anyway.
I know. Don't want to mess up that lip, boy. But anyway, you're so funny. We want to make sure that, you know, you remember that, you know, perspective, you have to always be changing your perspective, you know, and so you have to be willing to listen. A lot of times, you know, we're not willing to listen to our spouses when they're trying to help us. And, you know, we have to remember that we're a team. So therefore, if my spouse is asking, and, you know, it's really challenging my perspective, remember we're a team. So your spouse isn't coming against you. They're not trying to attack you. They're trying to make us better because we're a team. So that is, you know, that is something, you know, for you all to remember. So, you know, we're gonna go away and take another quick break. This is the Coach Martez and Woodrina show on Transformational Talk Radio, baby.
So when we return, we will continue, you know, we'll wrap up and continue talking about these keys, these emotional and mental keys to being committed for life, and tell you about some other things that we have going on.
Let's go.
All right, stay tuned. are back on the Coach Martez and Woodrina Layton show. Today, we have been discussing the emotional and mental keys that can help you stay happily committed to one person for life. So we talked about our two keys that we talked about today were fearlessly. What was the first key? What was the first key again? I'm sorry, I lost my thought. Okay, fighting for your future.
Exactly.
Okay, it came back. Fighting for your future, and our second key was fearlessly changing your perspective. And and we talked about those mental and emotional battles that you'll be going through, and we kind of touched on like some keys and some ways to actually help you to get through those challenges. So for anybody who just tuning in, make sure you go back and listen so you can catch that. But, we actually want to share with you all because, we always saying married for life. And, on our podcast, that is something that you're going to be hearing a lot, married for life, because we have, we're committed to being married for life. We have an event that we do annually called the Married for Life Walk, Married the number 4 Life Walk. And we actually, bring couples together every year. We do a 2-mile walk where you hold hands, and we're just encouraging couples to just never let go, of the hand you're holding. We're gonna experience challenges. We're two unique individuals, so coming together. So we got to try to, make this union work. So it's like, we're going to, have challenges, but if we remain committed to God and one another, we actually can overcome those challenges. And, along with, coaching, counseling, and other tools. But, the event is going to be April 22nd and 23rd of 2022 in Atlanta, Georgia. So we invite you all to look it up. And, it's not just for married couples, it's for engaged couples couples who are seriously dating, because, even couples engaged and seriously dating, we want to go ahead and equip you with the tools to be married for life, because that's what it's about.
And we also have couples that come, this is our 5th year, but we have couples that actually come all around the country. We've had sometimes people representing 10 to 12 different states, and even coming from overseas to actually be a part of the Married for Life Walk. And it was something that God had just, spoke to my heart about doing to help rekindle our bond and rekindle the love for us to stay in purpose. And so it's definitely something that I want to say is definitely good, and something that really touched my heart. I think it was in 2019 was the couple that came and the wife was in a wheelchair. That I mean, I'm gonna just tell you all, that touched my heart, because here we are at the Married for Life Walk, and all of these couples out here is a 2-mile walk. But what this husband was doing, and it's on one of the videos or something that we have, and he actually was just pushing his wife in the wheelchair there on the walk. That right there, I'm gonna just tell you, Woodrina tell you, I could be a sensitive dude, so I may have to drop one or something, but that right there, it touched me, because you think about things you go through in your relationship or in your marriage, but you never thought about like the people that love someone for life, even though they may have hurt themselves or injured themselves. And that changes the way you have to do life together. And I'm just saying that because, again, I'm a Navy veteran. I know all the veterans. I served in Desert Storm, Desert Shield. And I know there are a lot of people that have served. And, when you come back home, to have your wife, to have your children still committed to really just loving you and supporting you and helping you. I just want to say, I wish I really would have got that couple's names. And I could do better, but I'm also blame Brenda McGregor because she should have helped us. That's our executive assistant for the Married for Life Walk. She should have helped us to do that, because I really wish I could have got their names and stuff, but that was just something. So I just want to say we have couples that are in their 70s, been married for years. We have millennial couples, young couples, veterans, Black, white, Hispanic, Asian, it's just from all different beliefs. And so it's just really an amazing time. And this year we're doing something a little different, to where we're even going to have a marital workshop. We also normally have what we call the love celebration. And so that's where you know, you definitely want to go to the website, but that's where we actually
Just
we do the
celebrate.
walk earlier, but you come and you have the red carpet, you know, the women kind of get dressed up how they want to be, the men, and we actually have live music, jazz, and dancing and entertainment.
Yeah, do we just
It's just a
celebrating
good
our
time.
love for one another?
Yeah.
Because, you know, as couples, we need to make sure that we're continuing to do those things to just rekindle our bond.
Yeah.
So we need to attend these types of events, retreats, and marriage events, anything to strengthen the marital bond. We need to make sure we're doing that. So that's what we're committed to as Dream Builders Marriage Coaching and Counseling. We do that through our nonprofit organization, Healing Hearts, Healing Homes, because we're committed to just strengthening marriages. You know, we want to strengthen this marital bond. We want to rekindle that love for those who lost it, rekindle that love, rekindle that romance, because we want to make sure that you have the tools to remain happily, we got to add that, happily married for life.
Right. So,
you know,
but let me just say this. I tell people I am pro-marriage. But I want y'all to know, and you hearing it from me, so just in case they want to pull this video back or whatever, you know how people do. I'm also pro-divorce, because what I don't want is, I don't want people to be saying, I know God doesn't want me to be divorced. You know what I'm saying? I could tell you, you know, one of the best decisions a person could make when they're not with their destiny partner is to walk away. You know what I'm saying? I can't tell you how many successful, happy people I know now are either on their second or third marriage because they didn't get it right. So again, I just want to look at you and let you know, married for life does not mean being miserable for life. That is not okay. It is not acceptable. And that's why professional marriage coaching and counseling is so important. Nobody should be miserable for life and then blaming God on that. We're going to do a show about that too. You know, I got all these people that, but I'm just stuck. You're not stuck. You got to change your perspective. You know, you got,
because a lot of people look at it where, you know, I made my vows, you know, before God, but then you really have to go back and look at, you know, what were the circumstances surrounding your marriage. And a lot of times, because a lot of times you're doing that, but are you really, you know, making that?
See, now you getting on topic. I need to tell Dr. Pat was getting on. I was trying to stay on topic,
so
Dr.
I'm
Pat.
not.
We talking about the marriage.
Yeah, but
I was going off first.
No, right? I'm just following up on what you said.
I went on topic first.
So anyway, because you know, we talk about, that's just gonna be our running theme for our show.
We gotta talk about the walk.
But just being married for life and the tools and stuff that it takes to be married for life. So you know, I just want to remind everybody that falling in love with your destiny partner does not mean a life without challenges, struggles, or defeats. Falling in love with your destiny partner means this is the person that I want to fulfill the destiny or my life's purpose with. And applying these keys that we've shared today and on last week's session, and then on last week's broadcast, and in the many broadcasts to come, you know, can make it possible to stay happily committed to the same person for life. Because I want you all to remember, because this is like our motto, healthy marriages do not happen by chance, they happen by choice. So you have to be honest with yourself and be willing to be held accountable to the things that your partner may say to you without giving them back judgment or pushback. Like we said, fearlessly changing your perspective and let them know that this week right here, I challenge you. This week is the start of a new you who accepts change without conflict.
That was a mouthful right there. Change without conflict. I'm not going to be the person that actually is going to push back. I'm going to be the person that accepts responsibility. I'm going to be the person that is willing to admit that I'm willing to be held accountable to facing the truth. Fearlessly changing my perspective and being committed to making a difference. So
you want to close us out, Martez, because we got to get ready to end our show.
If you would like to contact us, you can visit our website at dreambuilderscoaching.net. All our info is on the contact page, and you can sign up for our newsletter and also sign up at the Married for Life Walk website at married4lifewalk.com.
We want to thank you for tuning in to the Coach Martez and Woodrina Layton show. We had a wonderful time today.
Yes, and thank you all so much for listening.
Every Wednesday at 3 p.m. Eastern, 2 p.m. Central, or 12 p.m. Pacific time. And we would love to hear from you. So be sure to connect with us on social media, and we look forward to reading your comments.
Have a wonderful week, and we will see you back here next time on Transformational Talk Radio. Let's go.
Thank you for tuning in to the Coach Martez and Woodrina Show on Transformation Talk Radio with certified professional life and marriage coach Martez Layton and licensed therapist Woodrina Layton. Understanding love, accepting truth, and changing perspective. Coach Martez and Woodrina Layton have been working with owl-bound couples to strengthen their relationships for the betterment of their lives for 20 years, and it is in their divine role in life to do so. For more information or to schedule an appointment with Coach Martez and Woodrina, go to dreambuilderscoaching.net. That is dreambuilderscoaching.net.